Okay, welcome, uh, Mr. Bush. Thank you very much. Glad to have you here. Anybody else who might join this live stream? I just wanted to make a few points here on this video, and hopefully as many black men as possible come across this video. Now, before I get started, I just want to fill you in a little bit on who I am. 10 years ago, I made this channel, and I started uploading videos on this channel 7 years ago. Very few videos because I simply had something that I wanted to say, and after I said it, I was done with it. I did not set this channel up to be like Tommy Sotomayor, but I had some heavy criticisms for black women or of black women, and I still do. But on this channel, and the videos have not that many views. 30 here you see 34,000, 61,000. This one 136,000. It's not that many views on the videos, but it's more than average, I'd say. And on this channel, I made some bold predictions that I now see have come true. I argued years ago that black women, may their souls rest in peace, were demonically possessed. Demonically possessed. To the point where they're not even aware of it. I also argued that they are allied with white supremacy and racists. Allied to the same type of demonic spirits that enslaved their ancestors. I argued that on this channel. And all of this has come true. And I want as many black men as possible to stay away from these women and stop listening to them. Okay? These women hate themselves. You do not listen to people who hate themselves. And it's a lot worse with black men, because these women who hate themselves are our mothers, sisters, grandmothers. You definitely don't engage people like that if they are demonically possessed and hate themselves. You will only lose your mind if you do. And it shouldn't bother you. I understand, listen, I understand why black men feel like they need to come out and counter the arguments put forth by Cynthia G, Nyla, and all these other girls. I'll be honest, I've never even heard a full video from that Nyla chick, but apparently she's popular too. I understand why black men feel like they need to come out and counter some of these points, because these black women help to really reinforce racism against black men. These types of black women embolden white racists, and they help to remove the guilt from racists when they decide to exercise their racism. They reassure white racists that black men deserve to be victims of oppression and racism, injustice, so on and so forth, and really deserve to be killed in cold blood in the streets. These women literally preach eugenics. This is exactly what I was explaining on that channel, that they are mentally and spiritually allied with the most evil, demonic, white racists that has ever walked this planet, ever in history. They literally teach that you should, just read this post. This is not the first time she said this. She said she's telling black women to choose better and choose not to birth black male children. Choose an abortion if you want to. She's really saying choose an abortion. Okay? She says if you're choosing a better man, he, 99.999%, won't be black. This is a woman who not only hates herself, by default, fellas, these women hate their own sons. Just like I argued on that channel years ago. Several times I talked about how they really hate their sons because their sons remind them of what they really are underneath that mask, underneath their attempts to look like white women and other women of people. I argued on that channel, you don't play the types of games that these women play. They play with their spirits. They literally practice voodoo on their bodies when they take the literal hair from other women and put it on their own scalp. People, that is witchcraft. You don't play around. You don't play games like that. Look, if you could go back in time to when black people ruled the world, I know I'm sounding nostalgic, bear with me. When black people were wise and ruled the world and were very spiritually in tune with the universe, if they were to see something like this, they would rebuke it quicker than I am on this video. They would know immediately that that is witchcraft, evil magic. It's inviting demonic spirits into your body because it is motivated by the spirit of self-hatred. They're trying to hide themselves, destroy what they naturally are, destroy their natural image. Fellas, stop trying to minimize this. This is what they do. Stop trying to minimize this. Oh, it's just hair. No, it's not. Do not listen to these people online trying to tell you this nonsense. These women are manipulating their spirits. They hate themselves more than any other group that has ever graced this planet. And we got to admit that. You're not even going to be able to help your women until you first acknowledge that. No other group of women, no other group of people have ever been known to do something like this ever in recorded history. Do y'all understand that? Do y'all know that literally when these people, these voodoo people manipulate these dolls, they have to get a piece of hair from the actual person? These women are inviting demonic spirits of self-hatred into themselves. They hate themselves that much. I argued all of this on that channel. And now you clearly see, without a shadow of a doubt, that it is true. Now, I don't know if they have damned their souls for all eternity or not. But one thing I do know, these women are demonically possessed by the exact same black-hating spirit that the sickest, most evil slave masters had. During slavery, white men passed that hateful spirit on to them. Do you understand? White men raised black women during slavery. Do you know what kind of sick, twisted mentality they instilled into black women during that time? Do you know how many generations? See, this is what happens when you become separated from your ancestors. What you see with these women, these self-hating black people, they're totally cut off from their ancestors and their ancestors' experience. Do you know how many generations after generations black women grew up as concubines to racist, sick, racist slave owners who taught them from the earliest ages to hate themselves, to hate black men, to aspire to be like white women? Do y'all understand that at the same time these white women raised these black women to think like that, they made black women style white women's hair, style their wives' and daughters' hairs? I explained this on that channel. So that the only beautiful women that black women grew up seeing was white women. And when they would go back to the slave quarters, they removed that wrap off their head. Their hair is unkept. Do you know how much they viewed themselves as ugly? They viewed black men as being responsible for that ugliness. You have to understand black women's historical experience to understand what's wrong with them today. And listen, I'm not simply talking only exclusively about Cynthia G and Nyla. I'm talking about all of their followers and supporters. This is what's wrong with them. And when you see the men, these are the men who was raised by self-hating, black male-hating black women. And like I explained in that video 10 years ago, these men who are raised by these women are just like them. They hate black men just as much. It's expressed in a different way. That's why you had these decades of black males gunning down, killing other black men, only having hatred and disdain and contempt for other black men. It is because of that seed of hatred, self-hatred, that was put into their mothers generation after generation. I know some people might want to refer to the late 1800s when the majority of black homes were two-parent. Understand, there was really no choice. That was more a case of function immediately leaving slavery. The dysfunction was still there at that time. The self-hatred was there at that time. Hell, during slavery, before slavery even ended, you had the hair straightening going on. This aspiration to be white. The self-hatred was there. And after the invention of television and all this, it simply got worse and worse with each generation. Because now there was a tool to brainwash and to capitalize, to perfect on that seed of self-hatred that was planted. over hundreds of years during slavery. So black men, I just want you, these women are very, very sick, and you should not engage. As soon as you engage with these women, you somewhat stoop down to their level, and you're going to be filled with that rage, that same bitter spirit that possesses them. No, you have to stay above them. Above them. These women are gone. They're gone. And I don't care how much they try to talk as if they're just looking out or want to see a black man improve. That's probably the most likely rebuttal they'll come with. Oh, well, no, deep down, we just want to see black men do better. No. Because if that were true, you'd hear it in their message. They would talk like it. Do they talk like a mother who's concerned? Do they talk like someone who's on your team, who is truly concerned about your well-being? Or do they talk like someone who hates your guts, who is disgusted by your very existence? If they are going to divest, then just go divest. I mean, most black men don't care, and the ones who do care, who cares? Why don't you just divest silently and, do your thing? No. They're just using that divestment thing as an excuse, as a reason to vent their hatred for you and their desire to see you killed and driven into extinction. That was the ultimate goal of the most racist white men who ever touched this planet. Their ultimate goal was to exterminate black people. Here you see these self-hating, demonically possessed women preaching eugenics. Preaching eugenics. Genocide. Black genocide. There is no way to rationalize that. There's no way to make sense out of that. You cannot try to flip that and make it sound like a righteous thing to do. Am I making sense? Y'all gotta stay away from these women, man. You don't engage psychopaths as if you believe that they have some type of sense somewhere in their brain. As if there's some form of reason within them. There is not. You simply have to focus on staying positive. Focus on dealing with black women who don't display this type of self-hatred. This type of hatred in general. Right? Because that tells you that these women are possessed. Focus on black women who are not self-hating. You need to function as if women like Cynthia G don't even exist. Do y'all know if they didn't get any attention from black men, negative feedback, negative reactions from black men, they'd probably stop talking. Their primary goal is to get a reaction out of you. And I know this video is a form of reacting, but my goal is to help black men rise above evil, self-hating, demonic spirits like this. In order, if black men are ever going to improve our condition in the world, we're going to have to. And it should be easy. All groups in the world hate us. You got people all over the planet who hate us, always have for a long time. What is an extra group, an extra portion of black women? Okay, so a certain percentage of black women hate us just as much as the neo-Nazis. Okay, big deal. Right? How much more difficult is it? I know there's a big difference. They live in our communities. They can do a lot more damage. It really bothered me. It still does. This story that broke where this black woman allowed this white man to kill her son, allowed this white man to beat her son to death. I think the boy was like, what, 6 or 7 years old? She allowed this white man, this boyfriend of her sons were black. They were not the sons of, I'm pretty sure y'all heard about this. They were by a different man, a black man. Her sons were black. And she allowed her white boyfriend to beat one of her sons to death. And they sat there in the apartment with the child's dead, rotting body for like 6 months. And then they moved out because they got tired of smelling the rotting corpse of her child. That was very disturbing. But that is a good example of how so many of them are infected with this demonic spirit. Does that not sound like a woman who is possessed by demons? Now, I was taught this by Dr. Amos N. Wilson years ago, long before I made the SBW channel. Amos N. Wilson. Black people, we need to understand that we are demonically possessed. And once you understand that and keep that close in mind, all of their behavior will make sense. They are possessed by spirits of racism. The same spirit that possesses racists themselves. That's just something we got to accept, having gone through the things that we've gone through. And the best way that we can respond to that is to treat these women as if they don't exist. To only interact with women who are not like that. And these evil spirits will vanish. Okay? This is a spiritual warfare that we're in. It is not just physical. And I don't like to see so many black men wasting their precious energy on wicked, sick, demonically possessed, hate-filled women like this. Nothing positive is going to come out of it. You would do a much better job doing away with these women by simply living a righteous life and interacting with women who are not like this. So I just wanted to put this out there. I hope as many of you shared this as possible. I will most definitely continue to talk about history here, but every now and then I will have to drop a gem. This is very much related to history because I think that's the root problem of all of this. How ashamed these women are of their ancestors. Do y'all understand? The majority of time we've been on this planet, we've literally communicated with our ancestors through ceremony, song, and dance. Do y'all understand that? We've done that for millions of years, and all of a sudden we stopped. Not only did we stop, we started. If you talk to these black women about their ancestors, they will be ashamed. They will be uncomfortable. That spirit in them will be agitated. They don't want to talk about. They're ashamed, embarrassed of their ancestors. And that is why they are currently possessed by demons. We got to get real out here. So I will see you all. Big shout out to all of you who joined this live stream. I will see you on the next.